Guess what, kids? It's part two because I accidentally shut off the camera. Sorry about that. It is a revolver. It is a very nice revolver. I think that it must have come with another McFarlane figure as well, because I know that I gave this very same one I gave to Tombstone from the Hasbro Marvel Legends line, because he has big 7-inch scale. Even though he's a 6-inch scale figure, he's a big guy, so the 6-inch scale or the 7-inch scale weapons work with him very well. Credit to Todd, or whoever made the decision for actually making the revolver removable. I think that is the stock drop-down holster that came with the figure, and I think the gun came with the figure. Now I'm going to put the phone down. We'll see if I can do this without shutting the camera off again. I'm going to try real hard. See, if I just tried harder, everything would be better. Okay, so now he's back on 2 feet. He's standing up straight. He's adjusting his pelfors and ear protection, ear pro. And yeah, there's that. So, and then here's the other Call of Duty Spawn. He's leaning back just to keep things interesting instead of forward. Say hi to the Shriners, by the way. The Shriners. Say hi to everybody, Shriners. Hi, hello. That's the floor of the Shriners convention here, at which we do our action figure obsession videos. So this one I like the better of the two. This one is kind of all business, but this one is a little spawnier, and he's got a cape. It's a cloth goods cape, but it's kind of a half-assed one. It does have a wire, but it's only in the very edges. It doesn't have the cloth goods going through the bottom of it, so that you could, really get it into some spectacular poses. But that's probably because it's also all tattered and cut up with scissors, as you can see. Not a very good job of making it look tattered and war-torn. Just some guy in the factory with scissors for 30 seconds, yeah. So he's got the cape. Yeah, see, there's not even any wire in the tip of the cloak there. So you could kind of, swoosh that out and make it look a little more spawny. Nope, goes right back to looking stupid. These are probably the same body. I'm looking at the head sculpt. Looks like it's probably identical. Oh, they got different feet, because this guy has boots, and this guy has, the gnarly Spawn feet. And he's got a little something there on his right foot that he doesn't have on his left foot. But I think of the two that I like this one the best. I just think it has more presence, even with the kind of crappy cape. And there were other weapons, other black and red giant size 7-inch scale weapons that came with this guy. Actually, probably with both of them. A couple of them I've given to, I think I gave a couple to my Sergeant Rocks. I have 2 McFarlane Toys Sergeant Rocks in my DC Multiverse collection, and I think that I gave them, even though it's ridiculous that they would have red and black Spawn-colored weapons, because they're supposed to be Army guys, but, real, like, World War II Army guys. But, of these two, the Call of Duty Spawns, which I'm not sure if they were Walmart exclusives. I know I got them both at Walmart in the little, like, electronics section where they sometimes have McFarlane Toys and some other stuff that isn't, Hasbro stuff. Yeah, I think the one with the cape I like a little better. I just wish the cape was a little better. And then my favorite current Spawn, because I have, as I say, had a very hard time ever replacing that Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn, but I think this one makes up for it. I asked somebody one time, because I knew that McFarlane had done a whole bunch of Spawns, and I don't really pay a lot of attention to McFarlane news. So I asked somebody online, that was talking about Spawn or McFarlane. I said, what's the closest to like a real regular comic book Spawn? And the first words out of his mouth were Batman. What, you say? Well, the whole deal was that, and I hadn't known this, McFarlane did a 2-pack of Spawn and Batman in honor of, his work on that Spawn and Batman comic book. And number one, I think this Batman is spectacular. That is my favorite color scheme for Batman, with the gray and the blue cape. The blue is looking a little purple on camera to my eye. It looks much more like just a dark blue, navy blue, to the naked eye here. But but he's got the, the 1960s sort of Batman symbol that I enjoy. So not only did I get my favorite Spawn with this 2-pack, but I also got my favorite Batman currently. And so we have the Spawn that comes with the Batman Spawn 2-pack, and he is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at him. He's gorgeous. He's so gorgeous. Yes. It's not the perfect comic book Spawn by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely, look at the shapes on the cape there. It is definitely after McFarlane's style. And if you're going to have a Spawn, it should probably look like McFarlane's artwork, or at least Greg Capullo, who, worked really hard to look like he was drawing Todd McFarlane's artwork. There's lots of little noodling and details and frills and all kinds of cool stuff on the cape. It's got the pointy things. They both got the pointy things on the shoulders. You see the pointy things on the shoulders? Batman has them too. Yeah, see his pointy thing. Show us your pointy things, Batman. Yep, beautiful, beautiful pointy things. So, the Batman Spawn McFarlane Toys 2-pack. It's interesting that he saved such a good Spawn for a 2-pack with a character from another company. But on the other hand, it's not that surprising, because if there's one thing Todd McFarlane is really good at, it's an opportunity to make money, unless somebody wants to sell him, $50 million baseballs, in which case he's willing to throw money away like it's, yesterday's coffee grounds. But I dig this set. I dig the Batman. I dig the Spawn. And I'm 90% sure this is the Batman that came with this Spawn in the 2-pack. I have like 8 or 9 Batmans that are built on this body of McFarlane Toys Batman, so it's entirely possible I'm completely wrong, and this is not the right Batman. If that is the case, feel free to let me know in the comments, but it's the one that I have standing next to Spawn in my DC display. It's the only non-DC character that is on that DC shelf, but it's because, Spawn happened to meet up with Batman, who was a DC character, and I think that they look good together. They clearly were both inspired by the same artist's work. And the one thing I will say, when Todd McFarlane designed Spawn, he had some pretty wacky ideas in the beginning, some pretty, I'm a teenager, and this is what I think superheroes should look like ideas. But by the time that he was starting up Image Comics, he knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted the character to look like. And while he has never really won me over with too many Spawn comics, although I do enjoy the Alan Moore written Spawn/Wildcats comic, that was a 4-issue miniseries, Spawn Wildcats, that was almost like a cross between Days of Future Past, the Uncanny X-Men story by Claremont, Byrne, and Austin, one of their last stories they did, and one of the very best and most influential X-Men stories of all time. It was like a cross between Days of Future Past and Spawn and Wildcats. And it was very interesting what Alan Moore did with that story in his writing, and the artwork is typical sort of 1990s imitation Jim Lee, imitation Todd McFarlane, imitation Rob Liefeld, whatever. But I actually enjoy the imitations of all their art styles more than I enjoy their actual art styles themselves. So that's fine with me. And again, if there's one Spawn comic I'm going to recommend to you, it's Spawn Wildcats, because it's a crazy crossover, but it's a lot of fun. And one of these two guys is in it, and it's not the one on the right, because that's Batman, and he's not Spawn, and he's not Wildcats. So there you go. Maybe there was a Batman Wildcats comic. I don't know. I don't think there was, but you never know. So anyway, this is just a look at literally all the Spawns in my house. My other Spawns all moved out a few years ago. And I just wanted to show off these figures and talk about my weird obsession with a character that I don't really care that much about, who stars in a comic book that gives me headaches. And yet I really dig his costume. I dig this guy whose name starts with an S, and yet who has a big white M on his chest, because that's just so Todd McFarlane, is it not? That's going to do it for this action figure obsession part 2 video. Sorry about that, everybody, going old school and doing an accidental part 2, but here we are. If I knew more about video editing, maybe I could fix it and stitch it all back together, but I don't know how to do that. Maybe I'll look it up someday, but probably not. If you like this video, or the one just before it that was part 1, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video with anybody you think might enjoy it. If you think there's anybody who might enjoy it. I mean, I don't know if anybody really enjoys this. Who knows? But, yeah. like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and oh, make sure you ring the notification bell so that you find out the next time that I screw up and accidentally shut off my camera and have to do a part 2 that I didn't want to do. Because that's, it's a lot of fun. You might notice the last few videos I've managed to get to like 18, 19 minutes. Since I fixed my phone, I have a little bit longer recording time. And haven't had to do any part 2s, but boy, I had to put the phone down. Note to self, don't put the damn phone down because you're just going to pick it up wrong and everything's going to go to hell, and it did. But that's only appropriate, the going to hell, since that's where Spawn came from in the first place. And on that note, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you on the next, say it with me, action figure obsession.